Hey everybody, welcome back to the T.A.R group channel. Have you ever wanted to be an auto sender but didn't want to have your PC running for hours throughout the day? In this video, we're going to show you how to become an auto sender using an Android phone. Our recommendation is that you set this up using a spare phone and not your primary phone. However, that choice is up to you. Before we begin, just a few mentions. While this may work on majority of Android phones, there are a few exceptions. One being the Android OS that is currently on. You want to be between Android 7 to Android 13. Once you get to 13, 14, you may run into some security issues where it prohibits Robotmon from running correctly. Number 2, the make and model of the phone. Certain countries, they have enhanced security features that make it difficult for Robotmon to work correctly. Number 3, the screen resolution and the screen size. However, this may be tweaked inside Robotmon to get it to work, and we'll go over that later. Okay, before we begin, I do want to mention that we have tested a few phones. I'm going to give you an example of some of the phones that worked. The Samsung A20, Samsung Galaxy Note 9, 10, Samsung S22, and S23. Those all worked. Examples of two phones that didn't work, the Samsung A51 and the Google Pixel 5a, mostly due to the screen resolution and size. Alright, so let's get started. What you're going to need is a PC or a Mac, but for our purposes we're going to be setting up on a Windows PC today. You're going to need an Android phone and a USB or USB-C cable to connect to your PC. If you're wondering why you need a PC, if you're setting up on an Android phone, it's because to start the Robotmon service, unless your phone is rooted, you're going to need to connect the phone to the PC every time you reboot the phone so that you can start the service. If you do have a rooted Android phone, I recommend you check out a guide created by my teammate AgentZero. There he discusses how to set up Robotmon on a rooted Android phone as well as a non-rooted Android phone. You might also find some useful information and tips in that guide that's not covered in this video, so I highly recommend you check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Alright, let's get started. On your PC, open up a browser, go to this web page. I'll leave a link down below as well. And what you're going to want to do is download Simple Manager Windows 32 or Simple Manager Windows 64, depending what Windows you're running. If you don't know what you're running, right click on your Windows logo on your desktop, left click on System, and right here it'll tell you what OS you're on, a 64-bit or 32-bit. Alright, once you get that squared away, download the appropriate file, remember where you saved it, and you can minimize this. Alright, next step is on your phone. What you're going to do is on your Android phone, go to the Play Store. For illustration purposes, I'm running a S23 mirrored to my desktop so you can better see what it looks like. But on the Play Store, you're going to download two apps. You're going to download Robotmon, which I already have installed. And the other one is the Disney Zoom Zoom game if you don't have that already. All right, once you download these two files, you can close the Play Store. Next, go to Settings on your phone, scroll down to the bottom, click About Phone, and you're going to want to click Software Information and click the build number 7 times. This is going to enable developer options on your phone. Once you're done with that, back in the settings page, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see developer options. Here, you're going to enable two features, Stay Awake and USB debugging. All right, once you have those two enabled, go ahead and exit out. You may get a prompt on your phone to allow this feature to be enabled. Just go ahead and click Allow. All right, once that's done, you can also do this step while you're here. Go to Settings, scroll down to Apps, scroll down to Robotmon, and here, scroll down to the bottom. You may get something that says Appear on Top. Go ahead and enable that. But basically, you're going to allow the permission to enable that. Then you click Battery and click Unrestricted. You may have Optimize enabled. If you don't have this feature, it's fine. It might be somewhere else. It depends on the phone and OS you're on. But if you're on OS 13, you should have this feature. Click Unrestricted. and then here you can close out. All right, so the next step after this is to connect your Android device to your PC using a USB or USB-C cable. For those of you who have already connected this phone before, you already have the drivers loaded, so you're good to go. For those of you who haven't, you're gonna wanna make sure Windows detects your device and recognizes the model. If it doesn't, you're gonna wanna head over to your manufacturer website and get the appropriate drivers installed before you proceed. All right, once you get that situated, what you want to do next is run Robotmon on your device. First time you launch Robotmon, you're going to be presented with the prompt. Just proceed with all those prompts, hit allow. Next, you'll come up to this page. Only difference is you will have a service off indicator here that's in red. To enable this service, you're going to run that file you downloaded before, the Simple Manager. Run that file, Windows will open a box that says, do you want to allow or deny? Click allow. If you don't get that prompt, your firewall might be blocking it or your antivirus might be blocking it. Go ahead and click more info and proceed anyway. Once that runs, two things are going to open: a command prompt like this, as well as a web page like this. What you're going to do is on this web page here, on the bottom left, it should be your phone attached to it. You're going to click start. I currently have stop because mine is running. So click start, give it a couple of seconds, and the service indicator here on Robotmon will turn green and it should say service on. Once that's done, click on the script store, which is the tab right here. Scroll down, look for the Disney Zoom Zoom script, which is right here. Click on it, click download. Now you have the script loaded. Next, click on the blue folder again to start it. Now you have the toolbar up top for Robotmon. For those of us who enabled the overlay in the app section before, you won't get a prompt. But for those of you who don't, this is where Robotmon usually prompts you, do you want to allow the Robotmon app to run over other apps? You're going to click yes. All right, once that's done, you can close this. Next, launch the Disney game. For those of you who have already played the game on this phone, you can go ahead and log in. For those of us who have not logged in before, you're going to need to create an account and link your line account to the game. All right. You can configure your Robotmon settings first. Click on the settings icon up here up top. All right. We mentioned before that certain phones may or may not work depending on the screen resolution and size. This is where you're going to test it to see if it works on your phone. You can first leave it off and play with it and see if it works. If it doesn't, you can turn it on, test it again, and see if it runs correctly. For me, I know this phone, I need to leave it on, so I have the setting turned on. There's some other settings in here you may or may not be familiar with. If you need assistance with this, feel free to visit our line group and we'll try to help you out. You can probably also Google some of these and it'll tell you what they are. All right, so once you get these settings adjusted, the only other setting I want to mention is if you have ads in your mailbox, you're going to want to turn on skip first person. What this will do is skip the ad. All right. Once you have all your settings configured, click on this icon here to save it. Next, launch the game. All right. Now I'm going to click the play button for Robotmon and it should start working. First thing it's going to do is check my mailbox and receive all the items in my mailbox. And here you can see I have an ad, so therefore I enabled that option before where it skips the ad. All right, as you can see, it's receiving every item in my mailbox. It's going to go down the list until it's done. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to adjust the settings so that it just sends hearts, so you can see what that looks like. Hopefully I have some hearts to send. But if not, you can see it work anyway. It's just not going to send anything because I don't have anything to send at the moment. Look, there we have one. So this will go down your leaderboard, send any hearts that's available. I'm going to stop it here. You can also autoplay with Robotmon if you choose to. You can turn on that setting right here towards the top where it says autoplay the game. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, if you find this helpful, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, visit our line group. And also, I highly recommend you check out AgentZero's guide, which may have more details and help you out if you're having difficulty. All right, thanks for watching the video. Bye.